What is something people describe as healthy, but it's actually unhealthy? Detox, cleanse regimens. Now I won't say it's particularly unhealthy, because they'll hunt me down and kill me. But the pro-weed crowd acts like it is a miracle drug with no downsides. Fact of the matter is, it does cause anxiety and delusional episodes in some people. Edit. To people acting like they agree with me but then saying stuff about the pro-weed crowd like, they act like it's better than alcohol, tobacco. I fully do believe it isn't as bad as those substances. Those substances are well and truly dangerous. I'm all for the legalization of weed. I just think we can't ignore the downsides. People should be able to take these things knowing the full extent of the risks and implications. All we have to do is be logical and realistic. We can't get tribal or reactionary, which is something the pro-weed movement has done. Most healthy branded juices, a lot of them contain more sugar than the average soda. Do your research before buying these products. Or just invest in a juicer. Complaining about every possible thing and calling it venting. Wine culture for moms. Edit. Yes. Beer culture for dad. too. I'm not picking on women. I'm talking about how we, as a culture, push wine culture versus addressing the root problem of how overwhelmed and alone moms are. This isn't entirely the same thing. But I absolutely can't stand when people use the word healthy or nutritious when they mean low calorie. Or the reverse. When people say unhealthy when they mean calorie dense. The nutrient content of food has absolutely nothing to do with its caloric content. There's nothing healthy about a gallon of sugar-free iced tea. And there's nothing unhealthy about an avocado or a handful of walnuts, you know. Unless you have a nut allergy. Every single time I tell someone I'm trying to eat healthier, I get, "Oh well, you shouldn't be eating nuts. Have a Diet Coke instead." Words mean things. People. You know we fucked up somewhere when a 2L of Diet Mountain Dew is considered healthier than a baked potato. It's right up there with, you don't need to eat healthy. You're not fat. It's like we've simultaneously gaslit ourselves into believing that the two states of man are fat and healthy, and that if you're not in the fat category you deserve to reward yourself by being unhealthy on purpose. It's no wonder kids have so many eating disorders. Herbalife. Juice cleanses. No fiber or anything. Just straight up sugar water. Most healthy foods as tagged by the people who buy it. And that's because it sounds like that. Here we had a new law that makes consumables show a tag that says if they have an excess of something. And who would have guessed? The ones called healthy are the ones that have the most tags. Açaí. In Brazil people accept that it's a dessert. Not a superfood. Edited to add. By this I mean acai bowls, smoothies with sugary add-ins. Not the berry by itself or in minimally processed forms. I apologize for any confusion. Fat-free. This term usually hides the fact that it's fattening. The belief that if a product contains no man-made chemicals it must be healthy. Arsenic, cyanide and a multitude of other substances are natural and yet can kill you. Nature in general. There is a huge marketing impact on products you buy. If there is written that it's 100% natural, you are going to prefer it from one that is not. Nature has no notion of healthy or not. Uranium or cyanide are 100% natural. Doesn't mean that they are healthy. A healthy pregnancy simply means the fetus will gestate to term and likely not suffer any medical issues during gestation. It is not referring to a pregnancy's impact on the body, as that is not healthy at all. Obsessing over your health. Only eating healthy foods. Not having sodium in your diet. Isolating from other to grind and work on yourself. Anything that becomes extreme and isolates you from society or impairs your relationships. A lot of people, especially younger, start vaping even thought they never smoke cigarettes because it's comparatively healthy. Except that there's plenty of evidence vaping still fucks up your lungs, and even though it's scientifically definitive that it will damage your body, it's just that the long-term effects are still not fully measurable. Also, vaping addiction tends to become way worse than cigarette addiction because it's far easier to intake high doses of nicotine and you're less restricted on where and when you can intake. Not to mention being considerably cheaper. Having perfectly white teeth. It's not a sign of healthy. But scrubbed, chemically treated or outright sanded teeth Working outside of work hours. ETA. My first award. Thanks so much. Being yourself. Even when you are an asshole and your actions adversely affect others. People have stopped being considerate and kind. The grind. Energy, granola bars. Energy, sports drinks. Most sweetened yogurts. Nutella is a good one. It's got more sugar than canned frosting. But some see it as healthier because it has hazelnuts in it. Laugh. No. I had a salad for lunch. The salad. A large pile of ham, cheese, and ranch dressing over a thin bed of iceberg lettuce. Body positivity and fat acceptance is very good for mental health. But a nightmare for physical health. Edit. Since a lot of you have corrected me, I feel I need to update my statement. What I'm referring to is more the health at every size movement. Rather than fat acceptance, more specifically the idea that weight and health are not correlated whatsoever. Sure, if you're slightly overweight, that doesn't automatically mean you're unhealthy. You can still eat well and work out and have no health problems whatsoever. But when the BMI starts to pass 40 to 45, it should pose a real health concern. Never mind what lifestyle you have, carrying a lot of excess weight around puts pressure on your lungs and other organs. Wears out your joints. Forces your heart to work harder. And so much more. Now, when I wrote the part about mental health, I was thinking about people being able to love themselves and live confidently with the bodies they have. And I still think this is an important part of the whole movement. But yes, we can't deny that physical health affects mental health. So even though the movement may help some people feel more confident in their own skin, obesity in itself contributes to poor mental health, and vice versa. I suppose the best way to go about it would be to have a more respectful approach to weight loss as a health measure. And to focus more on mental health as a contributing factor. The amount of people who genuinely believe that Chick-fil-A is somehow healthier than other fast food restaurants is actually insane. Hugh Jackman may have looked like an Adonis as Wolverine. But his body was in poor condition, he was getting little sleep. Working out so hard he experienced joint pain. He deliberately dehydrated himself for a couple days prior to filming his shirtless scenes and probably near passed out more than once for it. And he obviously used steroids. Even short-term usage affects your liver and other organs. Work culture. Work friends. Work life. Whatever you call it. Remember, your job isn't you. The company doesn't care about you. You are expendable. And no, you don't get to choose your work friends. They are a forced social interaction in a system that attempts to normalize spending 80% of your time on an activity that is not beneficial to you in any way, other than allowing you to live so that you can perform a work activity. Edit. A friend you play D&D with, or play football with, or go to parties with, that also happens to be a coworker is not a work friend. That one dude that wants to get lunch, but really wants to gossip about TPS reports. Or Cindy who wants to go to the bar so she can vent about Bob's red stapler. Are what I refer to as work friends. Sports ball friend and coworker does not equal work friend. TPS report Tim at the bar equals work friend. Most sports drinks like Gatorade. Speaking my truth. It's usually just a flimsy pretext to say what they want without kindness or consideration for others. Subway. I hear a lot of people saying that it is healthy fast food. But even if you make an all-veggie sub, their bread still has a ton of sugar in it. Recreational drugs. I get it. These things can help injured people cope with life issues. Some drugs are palliative at end of life to reduce pain. PTSD can be helped with some drugs effectively. That's not what I'm talking about. Healthy people pulled into the culture of drug use instead of a culture of experiencing life sober is not healthy. Maybe my response belongs in unpopular opinion instead of here. Being always positive. I hate this type of cunts. Staying positive to the point where it becomes toxic. Toxic positivity is real. Especially among senior management in public and private sectors. It can completely tank staff morale. Being overly confident, it's just obnoxious. It's good to be confident but not that. Fruit juice. High in sugar. With none of the fiber from the fruit to prevent blood sugar spikes. Veggie chips. The veggies are potatoes dyed green and orange. Going to the chiropractor. I may get hate for this, but keto. Being scalped as a kid. I find it weird when people flex that they got a beating. I grew up in the tail end of that mindset and didn't once have hands laid on me by anyone in my family. I actually pity people who were hit as children. An adult was so angry at a child, a fucking child, that their only resort to violence to make you submissive. Running marathons. Especially ultramarathons. Running is obviously good for your health overall, but can be unhealthy at extreme distances and cause the body to break down. Being a workaholic. Keto. Yes, you may lose weight, but I can't tell you how many times I pull up a patient's labs and can instantly see from their cholesterol they are doing keto. So yeah, you lost 10 pounds, which won't matter much when your heart is suffering. Grind, hustle culture. Flexing how little time you have to spend with your friends, family, yourself. Turning anything that brings you joy into a business venture. Trying to belittle anyone who isn't grinding as hard as you. Beauty at every size. Being fat can be healthy. Unconditional forgiveness. The older you get, the more you realize that letting people off the hook for doing shitty things isn't actually doing them as people a favor. A large amount. If not, most people will only change their bad behavior if they face consequences for it. While many people will take a free second chance to better themselves. A lot of other people don't have that sense of self-awareness or responsibility and instead will take it as a get-out-of-jail-free card and won't change anything. Also, narcissists and people without this sense of responsibility tend to take the idea of forgiveness to mean you can never bring it up or hold it against me again, even if I do this thing to you again. With these types of people, forcing them to feel the shame of their actions, or at the very least consequences, if they're sociopathic or narcissistic, is often the only way to get them to change. Maintaining family, or any relationships with people passively trying to undermine your efforts to improve because of how it makes them look. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to see more content like this in the future, subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about future videos. Now check out one of these interesting videos.